And that's one
and
of
you
the
had.
reasons why I love data so much. Like I can go back to the 3 months before I started running ads with you guys and look at my push press grow data. And I can see my website leads, I can see rate requests, I can see Facebook stuff. And all of that was a trickle. And then started running paid ads with you guys, and it turned the faucet on. It amplified everything. It's not just, and I was trying to run Facebook ads by myself back then too. Now I don't have to worry about it because you do it for me. But amplified everything coming in through Facebook ads, through Facebook Messenger, through the website, through rate requests. Everything just turns on and opens up when you start running paid ads.
You're an inspiration to our entire organization.
Welcome to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast. We're going to be talking the done-for-you marketing and sales strategies proven to work with boutique fitness gyms to increase quality lead flow and grow your revenue. Don't try to be a professional marketer and waste tons of money. Let the experts at Lasso do it for you. And now, here are your hosts, Blake Ruff and Sherman Merritt.
Today we have a very special guest, Aimee from Conway, New Hampshire. See the way I know exactly what city you're from.
Got it now. Yep.
Aimee owns Swift River in Conway. Gym been around forever. Aimee, thanks for hanging out with us first and foremost. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's talk about the gym a little bit. Let's talk about you a little bit. Let's start us off for someone that doesn't know you. How long have you had the gym? How have you guys grown recently? So let's just start there.
Yeah, we just had our 10-year anniversary on February 14th this year. So we're actually having a huge anniversary party on Sunday. We've got like half of our membership from the gym coming. It's going to be amazing. It's been a cool time for us to kind of look back to where we first started. This is our third location. We've grown our footprint 3 times in 10 years. Obviously, we've massively grown our membership multiple times in 10 years, especially since starting with you guys. I think we've close to doubled our membership since running ads with Lasso. Yeah. I want to say we're probably between 150, 180 members 3 years ago when we first started with you guys. I think May is going to be our 3-year anniversary with you. Now we're right around the 300 member mark at the gym. Things are going great. We have an amazing staff. Yeah.
Man, that's a lot of people. 300 people, Aimee. I just can't even imagine.
I never would have imagined that we would be a 300 member gym either, honestly. Like even 200 seems so far out of reach to me 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, well, congrats. Well, it took you long enough to join. You know, I'm never going to let that die.
I tell other people that too now.
I'm never going to let that die. So for you guys that are listening, so Aimee, so we've known each other for a long time. So we started Lasso, try to get Aimee on forever. Like, hey, Aimee, she's like, oh, you know, she was trying to push me off, guys. But as you know, the salesman that I am, I don't give up until she tells me, hey, leave me alone. I'm not interested. It took Aimee just about an entire year to get going. But once we got her, she's never left. And now Aimee's even on the team now. So I give that all to my salesmanship, right? I will flow and look at this lead has panned out better than I even dreamed of. So it's a win-win for everyone. But Aimee, let's start off. Talk a little bit about how the gym has changed over the course of 3 years, because like you said, you went from 150-ish to 300-ish. I imagine that's a totally different monster. So like, what have been some of the lessons that you've learned from having a 150 member gym and now having a 300 member gym?
Definitely that the systems you have in place for 150 people are not the same as what you need for 300 people. And staff is part of that too. Like we're so fortunate that we have an amazing staff and they get it. And their primary focus is helping our members, making sure they have an amazing time. And our staff loves being there. They really love working with each other and it feels like a great team. It wasn't always that way. And that's something we had to navigate through too, but I discovered when we started running the gym like a business that I love systems, and that's what needed to be put in place to make sure when I'm not there, the team knows exactly what their roles are and what they need to do, especially when it comes up to talking to leads, getting new members signed up, and then what does that new member experience look like, feel like when someone comes in for their first personal training session, all the way through making sure they're really successful coming into classes. Because when I'm putting a new person into a class that has 20 people in it, there's a lot of challenges there to make them feel seen and heard and supported compared to putting a new member into a class of 6 people. It's much more challenging. So we constantly look inward and look at what can we do better as a team to have a more successful client experience and have that feel really good to the person as they come through the door. And that's a process that never stops. Like last year, our theme for the whole year as a staff was refine. And we looked through all of our systems and refined a lot of things. And then this year, our theme for the year is to be a one of one, because we don't want people to look at us as a commodity. We're a gym. We're fortunate that we're the only real group fitness model in town, but we really want people to feel like we're irreplaceable in their life and that they'll stay with us for a long time.
That's good. So, you said something, you said the one-on-one. So I'm going to jump right to where, because as soon as you said one-on-one, I was thinking about the Pinnacle group that we're starting.
Yeah, I'm so
And
excited.
yeah, because so for you guys that don't know, we're starting a Pinnacle group for, basically high-level gym owners. You have to be doing at a minimum 30 grand per month to even get invited to the group or, put in your application for the group. But our goal is to take gym owners from 30K to 50K to 100K to 150K. And we're going to do that by focusing on the gym, right? We're not going to be, we're not going to get into real estate and other stuff. Nothing wrong with that stuff. That's just not what we're doing with the Pinnacle group. And one of our big things is we're trying to make sure all of these gyms are basically one of one, right? We don't want to, we don't want to put you in this box and shake it up and then everyone comes out looking the exact same way. But it's just, so we want our gyms to be one of one. So let's sort of talk about the Pinnacle group, because contrary to years ago when it took you a year to get on board.
I was just going to mention that.
When we rolled out the Pinnacle group, you were actually number one. You were the first one to jump on and say, hey, I'm in. You didn't even ask questions. You were just like, I'm in. So let's sort of talk about that. Like, what has you so excited about the Pinnacle group and moving forward with it?
I've been in other groups and other groups of gym owners and I've been with a bunch of different mentors and mentoring companies at this point. And I just really recognize that to get better as a gym owner, you need to be in a room with other high performing gym owners that get it, so that everybody can bring each other up, because it's kind of lonely. And Michaela mentioned it in one of her messages with the staff this week. Like, you're by yourself in your gym. You have your team and everything, but you're the leader. Everything flows up to you. You need to have other people around you that are dealing with the same things, but are also doing it really well at a really high level.
Got you. Okay. No, I mean, for me, that's why, the Pinnacle group sort of, personally, selfishly excited me so much, because I love being in the room with other high performers that are driven, motivated, right?
Yep.
I get that everyone's not wired that way, right? Like even all entrepreneurs are not wired the same way, right? Like they're just not. So, but for me, when we create this group, that's why we were so clear on, we're focusing on taking gyms, whether that's one location, 2 locations, whatever. We're trying to get you to scale your numbers. We're not going to deal with, breeding flamingos and all this other stuff that you can do on the side to create revenue. We're focusing on taking the gym to the next level. So
who breeds flamingos?
You don't think people breed flamingos?
How do you know one person that breeds flamingos?
No, I don't personally know a person, but Google it.
I'm just curious where that came from. So Aimee, are you saying it's lonely at the top? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it can be. I mean, that's part of the value in being in a group of other people that are dealing with the same things that you are. And the other thing Like you can be in your own bubble as a gym owner too, but you don't know what you don't know. And until you're in a group of other people that are doing things slightly different than you, or even doing it better than you, like that's how you're going to grow and get better. You can't just stay in that bubble, or it's just going to stay stagnant and stay the same forever.
So let me ask this. So what takes Swift River in your mind, and granted, like it may change, from where you're at now to $100,000 a month, Jim? What do you think that you're looking for in the group to like get there and fill that gap? So like if somebody's listening to this, like, yeah, I can relate because you're doing what, like revenue?
Around 50.
Yeah, I was gonna say 50, 60.
Yep.
So, you know, somebody listening to this, they're like, wow, I'm, you know, above 30. I know this group's for $30,000 and above. $100,000. I mean, that's more than triple for those people, right? But let's say they're at 40, 50 like you, double. Even that sounds massive, you know, 2x what you're doing now. But what do you think needs to fill the gap in between those two? And or even what are you looking for in being around people that are doing $100,000 to learn, you know, what they're doing that, you know, you think that you can improve on?
Yeah, I mean, a big part of it for us right now is just if we are going to grow beyond 300 members, and that's a big if, how am I going to physically put more people in the space that I have right now? Is a big one for us. I'm sure other gym owners are doing it better than I am. But in the same regard, if I'm going to bring more people into the gym and have more people in the room, I need to make sure that that client experience stays at the level that it's at now or better. And I'm sure there are ways that we could be doing it better. The other thing we just launched is semi-private personal training. So I know some of the other people that are in that group are doing that now, and I'll be looking for ideas from them of how we can put more systems in place, make that process smoother, make it a more high-end item for people because it is more close attention from the coaches.
Yeah. I remember like I started with personal training, then I had a grand idea of opening a gym and then went back to personal training. And my clients were very high CEOs and things like that. And, you know, for those people, it's really, they're just looking for something that really is quality, but also just fits their schedule. Like when you get to the people that are like CEOs of 16 hospitals and things like that, truly what they care about is time. They know they can't buy back time. Does it fit my schedule? Am I getting the most out of my time? And money's like not a big deal, right? Because really those people are thinking, I just want to be healthier longer and be able to do the things that I want to do. So I think there's, you know, when you do personal training, and this is just me thinking, there's that like group that are like, well, this is expensive. And then you really have to do a very high customer experience. And not that you should have a high customer experience, but also at the time when you get into like the top 10% of people that are like really, really wealthy, they're just looking for one specific thing because they know that like they have everything else. Like they don't need this like massive like hand holding thing. They're like you, right? They end up being like entrepreneurs. They're like, I don't need a ton of hand hold. I just need to show up, do the thing, and get out. And I need the results, right? So I think that's one thing too. But yeah, and I don't know. Do you have, Sherman? Do you have anything else to ask about Pinnacle? Because I was gonna kind of switch.
No. That was it. No, that was it.
So Aimee, you're one of our coaches here at Lasso, and you work with the majority of a lot of clients from anywhere from doing, you know, 10,000 to 50,000 a month. And we just did a podcast. It'll either come out, you know, 2 before this or 1 before this about like who's an ideal client for Lasso. And we really said about $15,000 doing revenue wise. Granted, there's stipulation. Like we talked to a guy the other day that's doing 8,000, but he's like, you can't imagine how low of overhead I have because he's in the middle of nowhere, right? But for the most part, what do you see from your perspective? We did our own, but what?
Oh no.
What do you see successful and then why unsuccessful?
Now, we couldn't hear your question because you broke up. Blake.
Okay, can you hear me now?
A little bit.
Okay. It says trying to reconnect. Make sure you have a stable internet connection. This is the first time my internet hasn't worked. Am I back?
I know, it's usually
Yeah.
No, it's not me. You guys can't hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
We hear you
Yes,
now.
no?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, hopefully the podcast group, we should probably mark that. They can edit that part out. So what makes a client successful versus unsuccessful with running paid marketing? Or even like when they're running paid marketing, getting a good amount of leads, what have you seen working with clients that like, hey, these are what the top 10% do? Because like, you talk to people, you're like, I want to do the top 10%. I want to avoid what the other 90% are doing wrong.
I think that the number one thing, at least from what I've seen, is mindset from the client, being open to, hey, this is what is going to work for you with your ads. This is going to work for you. What's going to work for you when you're talking to leads, how to book them, how to set up your system so that everything feeds everything. Sales is part of it. I mean, you guys take the work out of the marketing. You're sending the leads to everybody, but
I don't want to interrupt. Can you go back to mindset a little bit? Because that's exactly what we said was number one mindset. So dig deeper a little into that. Like what, from your perspective, is like a good mindset?
Just being open-minded to what could I be doing better to get to where I want to be? Because there's always things that we could be doing better. And it goes back to what I was saying before about you don't know what you don't know. Like if what you're doing in the past hasn't been working and hasn't been growing your gym, then being open-minded to, hey, let's make this one change and see how this affects what you're doing. Or let's not book to a free trial like you've been doing because it hasn't been working. Let's book to a consultative meeting where you're actually going to talk to people and see what it is that they need and get to know them and let them know, like, and trust you. And then you can say, hey, this is what you really need to get to where you want to be. Like, that's a huge part of the process too.
Yeah. What do you think, going back to when you first started? So if you guys didn't listen, Aimee was on like the second or third podcast we had. It took Aimee over a year to sign up with Lasso. So what mindset shifts did you have to have personally in the last 2-3 years from when you signed up?
I mean, I'm going to just go way back to before I signed up with you guys. Yeah. It took me a year because I was afraid of spending the money to run the ads. And I realized over the course of that year that nothing changed in my gym. I had exactly the same number of members. I was making exactly the same amount of revenue. Nothing changes if you don't change something, right? The definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And finally, I was like, I have to try. I have to do something different or this is never going to grow. And yeah, that I took the chance and it made all the difference in the world.
For sure. And then I think too, like you said, right? Like it's like that, oh my gosh, like, because gym owners are like, well, nothing's changed, right? And then something does change, adding paid marketing, but then they think that like that wasn't the result of it, even though for the past year it's been the same. And it's like, ew, let's just be real here and be honest. That's the only variable that did change, right? And so I think that's a huge thing.
And that's one of the reasons why I love data so much. Like I can go back to the 3 months before I started running ads with you guys and look at my push press grow data. And I can see my website leads. I can see rate requests. I can see Facebook stuff. And all of that was a trickle. And then started running paid ads with you guys and it turned the faucet on. It amplified everything. It's not just, and I was trying to run Facebook ads by myself back then too. Now I don't have to worry about it because you do it for me. But amplified everything coming in through Facebook ads, through Facebook Messenger, through the website, through rate requests. Everything just turns on and opens up when you start running paid ads. And the data shows it.
And I think that's one of the things we said too, right? Like the top 10 reasons, top 10 things that make a client successful is trusting the data, not trusting your feelings. and going off what you think is working or how you feel. It's actually looking at the numbers and taking your emotions out of it, looking at it objectively.
100%. I think that's something we do really well in our gym with everything at this point. Like, I have my instincts on things as an owner. Yeah, but I want to see, what does the data say? Like, cancellations. What does the data say about how many times people come to class on average before they cancel? What can we do to influence that number now that we have a number? And we'll change one thing. Did that change things? Did that change our churn? But for us, it's like that with everything.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think that, you know, that's one of the things that we hear like a lot as well, is people they'll be like, well, you know, if I change this, or let's change multiple things at once, and then we always tell them, no, let's just slow down, because if we change multiple things, we don't know what to, like, what was the sort of thing that moved the needle. So I like that you said, oh, we're always listening, we're always doing this, but then we'll change one thing to see if that moved the needle one way or the other. I think, you know, for me, one of the coolest things has been, you know, specifically having you on the team, and, you know, when you were just a client, is that you really take our advice and then you sort of implement it, right? A lot of times people, they'll pay us every single month and we'll tell them something. They'll be like, I don't know about that. Nah, let me just keep doing it my way. And I'm just like, what is the point of you paying us? Because remember, we're not like some of those marketing companies people worked with in the past, you know, flash in the pan, they plan on selling out. So they're just trying to get as many clients as possible. But for us, we want to see our members, our clients absolutely crush it. So anything that we tell people is because we have the data to say, hey, we've seen this work time and time again. So if we tell you this, you probably should do it. And I just think that's hard for a lot of people, because I remember when we first started the company, one of the questions we would get quite often is, why are you different than insert gym marketing company? I was like, I have no idea, but this is what we do and this is how we operate. And then I started realizing that, okay, we're sort of the antithesis of what people are used to, right? Like, people are not used to having real humans that they get to talk to, that when they're running their marketing, if they have a question, they can send an email or a Slack message and get a response the same day, you know? And I was just like, oh, okay, I see why people are so apprehensive when they're working with marketing companies, because, you know, we've sort of been preyed upon as the CrossFit / micro gym community with all of these quick fixes and stuff like that. And, you know, that's one of the things I enjoy. Like, when I go on podcasts and I'm guest speaking and stuff, I like to tell people up front, hey guys, if you're looking for the 30 clients in 30 days type marketing, like, that just isn't us, right? Like, we're not those guys. We're not going to promise you, hey, we promise you we'll get you 52 clients in 13 days. If you don't have to pay. Like, we just don't do that type of stuff. Like, a huge testimonial for us, Aimee, is sort of similar to what happened to you. You start with us, and then a couple years later, 3 years later, now you go from X amount of members, X amount of revenue, to doubling that, right? That's a huge testimonial for us, because, you know, most real, quote unquote real, not taking shots at anyone or the gym community, but most real companies, they have marketing departments, right? And when things slow down, they don't say, oh, everyone in the marketing department, you're fired. Like, company isn't growing fast enough. But obviously we see that happen often with people that come in with the wrong mindset. They'll be like, okay, so I've been doing this marketing for 6 months, and yes, I've increased my MRR by $5,000 per month, but that's still not enough. I thought it was going to be, you know, $20,000 per month in 5 months. So for me, how do you think people's mindset should be when they first start, right? Like, what should they be thinking? Should they be thinking, hey, this is going to take 2 years, or this is going to take 2 months, right? Like, what's sort of the happy space that you feel people should have the mindset around when they're first starting to run paid marketing?
I really think a quality over quantity perspective is important. Like, you don't want 30 members to come into your gym as new members in 1 month, every single month. It's going to absolutely crush your systems if you don't have really good systems. And it would make your client experience not very good because you're flooding your classes with a ton of brand new people. So your coaches have like a divided focus. And I've had that conversation with some of my lasso clients that wanted, like, let's increase ad spend. I want 30 new people. And I'm like, whoa, let's slow down and talk about what that could potentially mean for your gym and what it could mean for churn versus let's just grow nice and steady and slow so that you can grow your systems and your staff as we're doing this thing. Like net 3, net 5, net 10, that I think that's a great place to be every month.
I got a question for you, Aimee, and this is kind of jumping. I know you've been in at least 2 different mentoring company. And I'll put you on the spot here. What do you feel like you have learned the advice in, all of your years of ownership and being in mentoring companies? What has been the best advice and what are the worst advice that you've heard?
The best advice I'd say, and probably the best thing that I learned is, I've said systems a lot, but creating systems so that things are very consistent in your gym. So your staff consistently knows what to do and what to expect, and your members know what to do and what to expect. So people can have a good experience. That's the best thing I ever learned. And it still serves me today. I'm still learning more things on how to create systems. I would say probably the worst advice is your coaches don't need to be level 3 coaches. Like I took the L3 exam this year. I passed it. It did not make me a better coach. It did not make me a better business owner. I have that credential, but you can grow your staff yourself. You can lead them. You can teach them. You can do staff development and make sure that your staff are all really consistently at least A to B coaches. You can do
Aimee,
that.
getting a level 3, that means that people are going to find you, right? They're going to join your gym because you're a level 3, right?
No.
Oh, that doesn't happen. Oh,
No,
I thought that was the case. You get your level 3, level 4, and people just go on Google and they say, who's a level 3 coach that I want to join?
Most people that join my gym have no idea what CrossFit even is. They have no clue at all.
So if you guys are listening, I'll just say it, the biggest lie and misconception that she's heard is getting an L3 and L4 is going to grow your gym. So just don't believe it. The data doesn't prove it. None of it shows it. It's just not true. Now, does it I wouldn't even say it makes you a better coach. You could find the most empathetic coach that was an L1 and is the best coach in your gym because they care about people. You want to get a best coach? Find somebody that truly cares about people that are in front of them and wants that person to succeed. That's the best coach. I had a girl that was an L. She actually went and opened her own gym. But she was the biggest cheerleader. Everyone loved her, gravitated, light up in the room. She probably wasn't the best technical coach. People didn't care because at the end of the day, it motivated them to show up, which is the hardest thing, right? That is the best coach. Somebody that people, and maybe that's the definition of the best coach. People that want to keep coming back to see that coach and be in their class. That is a great coach, right?
Yes.
I do have a question because, you are very systems. So somebody's listening I don't know if I have good systems. How do you test your systems? How could you say my systems, I hear you, systems, whatever, but at the end of the day, I don't, I think I got good systems, but how do you put that to the test? I mean, I have my own thought, but I want to hear yours.
I mean, there's a couple of different ways, and I've done it both ways. The first one is to take one of your systems and put yourself in the mindset of a brand new person who's never set foot in your gym and is probably terrified to come in, and go through every single step as that person. What kind of experience is that creating? What could we do to make things feel better where we find friction in that process? And we did that a lot last year when we were refining everything. And I mean, the other way is we left the gym for, I think, 10 days last summer. My GM is a rock star. She's amazing. I have an amazing staff. The gym ran perfectly fine without me. I don't think I even got any questions from anyone this time when we left. Compared to, I think 2 years ago, we went to Greece for 10 days and a lot went wrong when we were gone. But not this time. And, you know, it was great. Before I left, I was like, listen, write down any questions that you have. I trust you. You make the choices. You don't need to ask me. Make the choices. The gym's not going to burn down, get destroyed while I'm gone. And then we'll regroup and figure out what it is that you need to learn so that you can move forward.
Yeah, I like that one. I was going to say that was mine. Like, take a week vacation and then tell your GM or whoever's in charge they cannot contact you during the week, and they have to answer the question or whatever comes up as if they were the owner. But here's the thing: as the owner, you cannot like fire them, get mad at them, or whatever it is, the choice that they made. Now, when you come back, you can ask questions. Okay, I'm just curious, why did you make that choice? Here's maybe what I've done differently and handled it, so they understand how you would have thought. But I know a lot of gym owners, it's like, but then that also tells you those are the processes and the things that you need playbooks for that didn't go well, right? That they don't know the answers for. Then that tells you, okay, those are the systems I haven't clearly defined. And then that's what you need to build out or hire somebody or get clear on. So the next time you leave, and then if it's that way, you go from like, okay, there's 4 things. Now there's 1 thing. And then you can go for 2 weeks and there was like 0, right? So if you're listening, you're like, hey, I need to test my systems. Take a week vacation. Tell everybody they cannot contact you, right? And then just test it and find out. And you'll find out pretty quickly if you have good systems or not.
But you all, like, as the owner, you also have to give up control and like not jump into conversations on Slack, let everything play out. Like, knowing that it's okay if someone makes a mistake, you can go back and fix it. The gym's not going to burn to the ground. I think the other thing that's important too, and I have this conversation a lot with gym owners who wear all the hats in their gym, for us to grow to the point that we're at right now, I had to start handing off tasks to other people. We didn't have an operations manager when I first started with you guys. She's now a full-time employee with benefits. She's amazing. She helps me immensely. But 3-4 years ago, I was just starting to hand off roles to other people. It was super scary for me. And I was like, how am I going to pay someone to be my client success manager? And a mentor was like, how much money do you need to generate to pay someone for 2 hours a week so you don't have to do these things? And it was so simple, but that was such a huge light bulb moment for me because I was trying to figure out how to pay someone for like 20 hours a week. Just start super small. I needed 1 more client that month to pay for that person. And that's
I think one big thing for that too, right? Like, if you got a gym that's under doing $15,000, you need to be doing 90%. Like, you need to be doing, like, we're not saying develop systems and you just open your gym. Like, you need to be hustling and grinding and building this thing. Once you get to a point, then it's starting to offload. But here's the key, and you kind of said it, was if you offload something, you should be then doing something that makes you more money. You don't just say, I'm offloading it and whatever, I'm done now, right? Like, maybe when you get to the final thing of you're like, now that's literally it, and now I can step aside. But like, you need to be doing something that brings in clients or is a higher value role than what you were doing with that role. If you're paying somebody $20 to do it, you should be finding something that brings $40 of value in it, and keep doing that until, because offloading that should give you more time to focus on the things that actually grow a gym. So I think that's a big thing for people. It's just like, not just offloading stuff, but don't just, if you're listening to this and you're like under, $10,000, $15,000, like, you just need to be hustling, man. Like, you just gotta work. You opened a business, like, that's just part of it. Like, it sucks at times. It's great at other times, and 90% of the time it sucks. But like 10%, it's great until you get to like where you built it up, where you're like, oh, now this is nice.
Yeah, it just takes time and patience to get there.
It takes time. It takes time. I think that's one of the, that's one of the things people sort of look over. Even some people come with us, like, we tell them, hey, we're not the 30 members in 30 days type thing. We're the more of a, oh, we're going to take you from 15 grand to 30 grand or 20 grand to 40 grand. But I think one of the things people look over is when you double your revenue, it is definitely going to stretch you, and you are going to do more work, at least in the short term. You just don't double your revenue and be like, oh, everything is exactly the same. I'll just have all this extra money though. Thanks, Lasso. That's not how business works. Like that's not how it works. Correct. That's not how it works. But I think we're going to end it there. We've kept you guys on for a little bit. Aimee, thanks for hanging out with us. Today was great. If you guys want to get in contact with Aimee, she's not hard to find. You can find her. All social medias.
I'm around. I'm in the push press group a lot. I help out a lot in there too.
Yeah, look at push press group, regular social media. You can find on Lasso's website. You can find on Swift River CrossFit's website. Everything. She's easy to find. So anyone listening want to get in contact with Aimee, reach out to her. But guys, as usual, tell a friend to tune in, and we will chat next week. All right.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast with Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks. We hope you enjoyed. We believe marketing should increase revenue and not waste money. So book your free call today. Head on over to lassoframework.com. That's lassoframework.com and find the right words, get more customers, and increase your revenue. We'll see you here next time.